Hi, I'm Susanna Calvert of the Foundation for Family and Community Healing. We were just talking about the parallels between our body and Earth's body and how we humans and every other creature on Earth is a system within a system within a system within a system. Just below my skin is my system of organs, which is comprised of a system of cells and other structures, and each cell is a system of subcellular parts and organelles. Beneath that are molecules, atoms, and so forth. And that we're like Russian nesting dolls that is actually within a larger system that we cannot see, and coexisting with other organisms like the bacteria in our gut of the Earth system, which is part of the solar system, which is part of the galaxy, and so forth. And that we are all interconnected and interdependent and all part of a great big tapestry of all that there is. Wanted to also just elaborate in this segment to talk about the balance and the purpose of each of the parts of the system. So we briefly talked about how if one cell in an organ decides to not do what it's there intended to do, or doesn't do it in the right amounts, or at the right timing, or in the right place, that can cause illness and disease. So I think the best example of that is cancer. So if one of my breast cells goes to another part of my body and starts to grow there and wants to take over, well, it might feel really good for that breast cell to be in charge and have its way, gobble up the resources, but in the end it's just jeopardizing itself and the organism for which it resides. So in order for us to be healthy, all of our pieces and parts need to be where they're supposed to be, doing what they're supposed to do at the right time and the right amount. And I was using the human body as a metaphor, but we as sentient beings are more than just our bodies. I've been in the biomedical sciences long enough to have seen the evolution from where we thought about our bodies as in a very reductionist way. Here's a disease, here's the receptor or the enzyme or whatever, the molecule that's responsible. We're going to design a drug to treat that. And we know that there's so much more to wellness and well-being and health than just treating illness. We want to live a good life. We don't want to just exist without dying or discomfort. So really modern medicine and the thought around that has evolved to be more holistic. It's that our mind, bodies, and spirits are integrated, and it's from that perspective we experience the world and our life from those three lenses, not just what we touch and what we can see and taste. So it's also part of our internal experience and our thoughts, what we feel, how we feel connected, are all playing together to create well-being and a good life. So I think the most straightforward example is how our minds can affect our health and our sense of connection to the world, and all three can interplay. So, for example, if I feel like I don't know what the purpose of my life is, that can feel very stressful. It can make work feel very challenging because I'm doing things I don't want to do. And that stress can create cardiovascular disease and other illnesses, depression. Maybe it makes me feel isolated and lonely, which increases my mortality rate. So all of those things are tied together in terms of who we are as live beings. And so it's not just our systems within our systems, but we also consider our wellness from a holistic perspective. And if any of the mind, body, spirit is out of balance, so do our lives. Like we might be surviving, but we won't feel like we're really living, and we're not really prospering in fully engaging with our life. So I feel the same is true for Earth, and Earth is going through changes, just like we go through changes. And again, I'm not sure, for the sake of this discussion right now, it matters whether you know, Earth is going to go through this evolution on her own, regardless of human activity. But what I do think is clear is that she is going through a change, and I feel like for most of us, like, remember your earliest changes, like adolescence, how painful that was. Well, Earth is going through changes for whatever reason, and just like we would want to support our young people while they're going through those changes, I think it would help us to understand Earth's perspective a little bit, or try to understand it, so that we can be supportive as possible. Not only for her well-being, but for ours, because we're intimately tied in the same tapestry. So Earth is her own system, her own nesting dolls. Again, she's part of the solar system, but her body is also made up of a system of lungs, which is the air. Her blood, which is the water of Earth, and her body, which is the land. So she is comprised of her own system, and even within those systems, Earth has the subparts. Of all the creatures on Earth, there are many different types. There's insects, there's mammals, there's reptiles, there's amphibians, and so forth, birds, microorganisms. So, and each of those are their own system within a system. You know, even the dirt, I learned the term that, you know, the difference between dirt and soil. Soil is alive. It's full of organic material and bacteria and things. And even the soil is alive when Earth is healthy. The water also has its different components to it, the creatures and the plants, and the minerals, the rocks within. So when any of it is out of balance and there's too much in one place or another, then Earth is also unhealthy. And we're experiencing that with climate change. We're seeing floods and fires, drought, and it's because Earth is not in balance right now. And to the degree that we're making it worse, instead of providing comfort and care, then we have a real opportunity to step forth and to try to be helpful to Earth right now. It's good for us. It's good for Earth. It's also the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do, for Earth has always provided for us. I think our purpose is really important. And I mean that not only from a collective level, like what is the purpose of humanity, besides being at the top of the food chain and altering our environment, but also in terms of our purpose as individuals. And one of the things I found to be my calling was to help others find their own purpose and their own calling, because I believe that in addition to our species, that each of us individually are like the molecules in a cell, and that we all have a place and a purpose and things we're supposed to do. And when we're in the wrong place or we're not doing it, then the cell is unhealthy. It won't function as well. And the plasma membrane doesn't necessarily know that it's a membrane. It just knows what it's supposed to do: regulate molecules going in and out and providing a barrier. Just like nature, and every part of nature, every piece in every system within the system of nature has a purpose, I feel like so do we as individuals. And that when we connect to that, we also connect to all that there is. We create meaning and purpose in our life, which is part of the karma, how we create well-being for ourselves. Part of our purpose, I believe, as a collective, is to live in harmony with Earth and to care for Earth. And oftentimes our individual purposes are about that care. Care for Earth herself, but also care for the creatures and the other parts of Earth, including each other, including other animals and plants, including the minerals. So our purposes are all, whether they be individual or collective, are all tied to that collective and that fabric that we're in. And that when we are in touch with that, we feed our spirit, we inspire our minds, our bodies will be healthier, and we will feel to be a part of that fabric. not just in our heads, but in our hearts and with our hands. And so I hope thinking about this from the sense of balance and purpose and interconnectedness can help you have a greater sense of where you fit in to the fabric of this Earth community, um, and and how you wish to serve Earth or others in a way that's unique to you, because um, you're not the same molecule that I am, like in the same place. Like every molecule, every atom, everything has its place and its role and its function, and we're all different. So I'm sharing with you my thoughts and the way this looks from my perspective. And there's 6 billion other of you who have your own perspective and views. So I cherish and celebrate all of them, especially to the degree that it helps us cherish the fabric of the community that we're in, that we support it to be vibrant and healthy, and that we can all thrive together here with our beloved Earth.